We're back. I'm drinking an iced peppermint mocha. The protein powder I'm using is the peppermint hot chocolate protein powder from Transparent Labs. You can use my code Desiree to save you 10% off at checkout. This is seriously like one of my favorite things. Iced protein coffee has been my obsession for the past month. I haven't been taking pre, so normally before I go to the gym, I have an iced protein coffee and it's just so good. And it's such an easy way to get protein in.
Woke up falling due to like this morning.
We see this time and time again, okay? I'm an online fitness coach. I have an online coaching business, and we see the same thing every single year. Women come to us, they want to get started on their health and fitness journey. They want to become that girl. I get it, girl. The beginning of 2023 rolled around last year, and you were feeling good. You were feeling motivated. You had a goal in mind. You were ready to put your plan into action. And now, as 2024 is approaching, you're kind of looking back at this year and wondering what the hell happened. I get it. It's not your fault. You had the motive. But you didn't quite have the plan to execute, did you? No worries, boo. It's not your fault, and I got you. Let me guess why you're here. 2023 rolled around, okay? It was a brand new year. You were feeling motivated. You were feeling excited. You were scrolling TikTok. You were seeing all these girls do their morning routines, setting their New Year's resolutions, and you felt inspired to do the same. 2023 was gonna be your year, right? This was gonna be the year that you were gonna lose the weight. This was gonna be the year that you were gonna develop all the healthy habits, the year that you were gonna build muscle, the year that you were gonna start officially your fitness journey. But what happened? Looking back on this year, the action kind of failed to get put into place, did it not? It's okay, you're not alone. And I'm not here to judge you either. Actually, what I'm here to do is help you never make that mistake ever again. Introducing projectHER. This is going to be your step-by-step blueprint to help you become that girl this 2024. We are going to cover the diet, we're going to cover the workout plan, the healthy habits, the routines, everything that you need to know to step into that best version of you this 2024 for good. And we got a lot of topics that we need to cover, okay? So this is gonna be a multi-part series and we're gonna roll these videos out in each part every few days. But before we jump to that, there's a few things I wanna lay out for you. Number one, you need to understand that this is going to be a step-by-step gradual process. The reason I'm not putting this into one massive video and just giving it to you all right away is because I want this to be something that we gradually ease ourselves into. Trying to change your identity, trying to take on a whole new lifestyle, that's hard work, babe. And the worst thing you can do is dive head first and try to take on too much at once. So every few days, we're gonna be rolling out a new video, and then I want you to start implementing whatever you learned in that video. Second thing, you need to understand you are gonna have days where you're gonna wanna give up. You're gonna have days where you're gonna wanna throw in the towel and say, this isn't worth it. I'd rather hit snooze, go back to bed, and knock it up and take care of myself today. That's normal, you're human. If we are committing to this, we are committing to this shit for life, okay? But I'm gonna provide you guys with an exercise to make sure you get super clear on your why that will help you stay focused throughout this entire process. And what we're not gonna do is let that shit snowball and completely throw us out of routine for the rest of the year. We are going to always focus on comeback rate. Because let's be real, things aren't gonna be perfect 24/7. You're not always gonna wanna follow your routine. Some days may be harder than others. And there are gonna be some days where maybe you do not show up to the gym. Maybe you do not follow through on your routines as you normally would have. That's okay. But we're always going to focus on comeback rate. So whenever we find ourselves slipping out of routine, instead of letting that spiral and completely throw us off for days, weeks, if not months, we're gonna stop. We're gonna ask ourselves, what is one thing I can do, one action I can take, big or small, to help me move forward and move past this and to get back on track. And we got a lot to cover, okay? Routines, habits, workouts, nutrition. But first things first, before we start thinking of the diet we want to follow, the workouts we want to follow, the routines we want to follow, we need to get clear on who it is we want to show up as going into 2024. So this is what we're going to do before we jump into any of these videos. We are going to sit down with a pen and a paper and we are going to write out our ideal version of us. Who is it that we are wanting to step into at this 2024? And here are some questions that are gonna help you get super clear on that. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, well, duh, I know what I need to do step by step, but my motivation is the thing that kills me. This is where I'm gonna help you. So let's actually break down the word motivation. First, you have the beginning of the word, motive, and then you have the suffix ation. Motive is like the main reason why you're doing something. It is the why behind the action you're putting in. Then you have the suffix ation, so the action that you're putting behind it. In order to sustain motivation, you need to A, have a clear motive, and B, have the action to support that motive. So this is what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna get super clear on your motive. So let's do that right now. I have 4 questions that I want you to answer. Question number 1, when I think of the best version of myself the ultimate dream version of me that I want to be, what does that version of myself look like? And get super specific on this. Write how you feel, write how you look. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? You could write out what a day in the life of this version of you looks like. We need to get clear on who this version of you is before we move forward. Second question I want you to ask yourself. What is the biggest block that's standing in between my current self and me being that version of myself right now? Is it your social circle? Is it your environment? Is it your habits? Do you have limiting beliefs that are stopping you from reaching your full potential? What is the biggest block that is preventing you from being this version of yourself already? Third question, what will I need to change or remove out of my life so that I can be this version of myself? And same kind of thing. What is causing your blocks and what changes can be made to get those blocks out of the way? Remember, there is always a solution. There's always a way, and at the end of the day, the only block is us. So what changes do we need to take accountability for and make in our life in order for us to step into that version of ourselves? And fourth question is, how is my life going to be improved by becoming this version of myself? And really get specific on this answer too. Are you going to be happier? Are you going to have more confidence? And with this confidence, are you going to be able to finally wear a bikini on the beach for maybe the first time in years? Are you going to have more confidence with your partner? Are you going to have more energy so you can play with your kids and not be out of breath and dying every 5 seconds? Think of all the ways, big or small, that your life is going to be so much better by becoming this version of you. Then what I want you to do is, with this piece of paper, I want you to keep it. What we suggest to our clients is actually reading this piece of paper every single morning, especially if you're really struggling with staying focused. But even just having this piece of paper around, so that way if you ever find yourself really questioning if you want to show up for yourself today or not, you're gonna read this piece of paper and you're gonna remember why the hell you're doing what you're doing and why it's gonna be so worth it for you to follow through. Every action we take is a vote for the person we wish to become. That's a quote from one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, but it is so true and something you can do with yourself during this process. And as we're getting to learn these new habits, these new routines, if at any point throughout this process you find yourself wanting to give up, you're finding yourself wanting to take it easy, maybe let off the gas a little bit, I want you to stop and ask yourself before making any final decision, what would my highest self do in this situation? And then I want you to go and read the answers to the questions I just gave you. And then I want you to revisit what you're gonna do. We have so much to dive into over these next couple weeks. I cannot wait to share everything that we're gonna cover. And this is just the introduction, okay? We are just getting started. This is gonna be a multi-part series that I'm gonna be doing on my YouTube here. We'll make a little playlist for it so you can find all of the Project Her videos in there. So we have videos rolling out over the next couple weeks to ensure that 2024 is the year that you become your hottest, healthiest, and happiest self. So if you are ready to follow along and get started on Project Her, make sure to subscribe and come back here December 17th.